Okay, welcome everyone. So today, inshallah, we're gonna be talking about how to do speaking part two. Okay, as we know, the speaking test comprises three parts: part one, two, and three. In part one, you will be asked general questions up to about maybe 10 questions, 9 questions, 8 questions about yourself and things you are familiar with, like maybe do you work or study, your hometown, your home, and things you like to do, places you like to visit, and so on, people you know, and so on. So part one takes about 4 to 5 minutes. Then the examiner moves to part two. In part two, which we are talking about today, you will be given, okay, 1 minute to prepare, and then you need to respond speaking up to 2 minutes. Okay, you will be given a topic in a cue card, a small card. Okay, then you need to respond to the bullet points, the topic, and the bullet points in this cue card. So you need to speak for at least 1 and 45 seconds. Okay, anything less than that could affect your score. So let's have a general look at speaking part two. Then we're gonna talk about how we're gonna solve it or do it, and finally we're gonna practice on one or two uh, examples. So let's just jump right into our topic. So general information about, sorry. So general information about about part two. Okay. So after completing part one, which usually takes 4 to 5 minutes to complete. Part one بياخد 4 ل 5 دقائق. The examiner will move on to part two of the speaking test. In part two, the examiner gives the candidate a topic card. The candidate has 1 minute to prepare and make notes. Okay, you will be given, after you see the cue card, the topic, you will be given 1 minute to make notes. Okay, after the 1 minute preparation time, the candidate is required to talk about that topic for, as instructions say, from 1 to 2 minutes, but you should speak at least 1 and 45 seconds. Okay, 1 minute and 45 seconds. So as a rule, you are expected to speak for 2 minutes. Anything less than this and your fluency score may be reduced. Okay, so be careful, guys. You need to develop your answer to actually fulfill the 2 minutes. Okay, don't worry about the timing. Okay, there's no clock. You will not see the clock. The clock is in front of the examiner only. Okay, so the examiner will stop you when the clock hits 2 minutes. Okay, if you stop in maybe 1 minute and 20 seconds, 1 minute and 30 seconds, something like this, the examiner maybe, okay, tell you or not tell you, okay, maybe point to you that you need to continue. Okay, so the best strategy here, so this is the first strategy, okay, in today's session. And part two is to keep talking until the examiner says stop, or maybe thank you, until the examiner stops you. Okay, so our first, and maybe it's a very important strategy, is to keep talking for the full 2 minutes. اتفقنا؟ Deal, guys? Okay, نضلنا نحكي لما الاكزامنر يحكي لنا thank you. Okay, so candidates are naturally nervous in this part of the test, so it's not good to try to guess the time. Okay, leave the time, forget about the time. Actually, you need to do a lot of practicing before you submit or before you apply for the test, because by doing a lot of practices, you would be able to estimate how much 2 minutes actually takes from you. Okay, you will know, you can estimate. Okay, so okay, as we always say, On the speaking test, the focus is not on the content. It does not actually matter whether you like the thing that you are asked about or not. For example, if the examiner asks you, do you like swimming? Okay, so it does not matter whether you said yes or no. This is not the important thing. That's okay, your answer. It's about the language. So the most important thing is not what to answer, it's how to answer it. Okay, it's a language test. I always assert that this is a language test. It's not a knowledge test. هون ما بيسألك عن معلومات، ما بيهمه معلومات، بيهمه كيف بتجاوب. اوكي، والنقاط اللي بحط عليها علامات اللي بنسميهم evaluating criteria are these points, guys. The first point is named fluency and coherence. And what we mean by fluency and coherence, that you speak, okay, without hesitation, without repetition, and without self-correction. Okay, هذا معنى الفluency. Fluency without hesitation, without repetition, without self-correction. Coherence, that means that you put your sentences, you connect your sentences together. Okay, so you use some linking words, some linking phrases and fillers. Okay, to make okay a logic sentences, okay, for your answer. The second point you will be assessed based on is the lexical resource. Okay, how much wide vocabulary do you have? Okay, do you use just simple words, or you use less common vocab? Do you use idiomatic language, or you don't use it at all? So uncommon words, less common words, not uncommon, let's say less common. Okay, I think less common is much better than uncommon words and idioms. The third point is the grammar. Okay, do you make any grammar mistakes? Yes or no? The second point, do you use complex sentences or just you use simple sentences? Do you use complex sentences correctly or with errors? Okay, all of these points affect your score. And finally, the pronunciation, the way how you speak. Okay, and we mean by the pronunciation, you pronounce the word in a way that the examiner can easily understand you. You do not mix words together. You don't actually, let me say some kind of strange sounds that make it difficult for the listener to understand what you are going to say or what you are saying. For example, okay, if you say something like sheep instead of cheap, okay, so this would make it difficult for the person who hears you to understand what you are saying. So this is a pronunciation problem, okay, the way how you pronounce. It's not about accent, guys. We are not talking about accents. We are talking about the sounds that you make that does not make it difficult for the examiner to understand what you say. Okay, so these are the 4 evaluating criteria. So let's move to the next point. Okay, this is a small note here, don't go irrelevant. That means, okay, if you are asked about the topic, don't change it. Okay, for example, the topic is, or maybe was, describe a sport that you like playing or watching. So you must speak about a sport. Okay, if the candidate responses saying, I don't like sport, so I will describe my favorite hobby, which is playing computer games. You are off topic, okay? Your score will be reduced severely. So be careful, guys. Do not go off topic. Okay, so the question here, or the point I would like to make here, that what are the topics that you are expected to be asked about in part 2? Well, you are expected to ask about one of these 7 topics. The first one is to talk or describe an object, إشي, شيء, maybe a gift, let's say electronic device instead of, okay, an electronic device, okay, electronic, yes, or electronic device, something, okay? So maybe you will be asked to talk about or to describe a person, your teacher in the high school, one of your family members, a celebrity, famous person you know, and so on. Maybe you will be asked to describe an event, a wedding, okay, a celebration, or a happy event, for example, in your life. Maybe you'll be asked to talk about an activity, a hobby that you like to do, maybe a sport or something like this, a place that you have been into or you live in, or maybe you would like to visit in the future, like a country, maybe a restaurant, a touristic site, something like this, a situation that you have been into, like an accident you're involved in, like a place where there was a lot of noise around you. And finally, you could be asked to describe your favorite something, your favorite book, your favorite movie, your favorite food, whatever, okay? Something you like the most, okay? Now let's have a look or take a look at the cue card, okay? خلينا نشوف الكيو كارد اللي بيعطونا اياها وبيحكوا لنا اتكلموا عنها. نطلع على الكيو كارد اللي عندنا. Let's look at this cue card. So it says describe a hotel you would like. Oh, sorry, you know that you know. Okay, so you should say where this hotel is, what this hotel looks like, what facilities this hotel has, and explain whether you think this is a nice hotel to stay in. So, okay, by looking at this topic card, guys, how many parts do you say? Do you see?
One card.
Yeah, it's one card. Okay.
Okay.
There are how many parts? How many points you want to talk about? Four, or maybe, yeah, or maybe 4 or
أو
5.
ثلاثة وهذا بدك مثلا
Yeah.
بدك توصف إشي.
Okay, actually, there are 5 points. The first point is to name the topic that you will talk about. Okay, so describe a hotel that you know. So first thing, when you start your answer, you're gonna say the name of this hotel, right? Right or not? Okay, then you're gonna talk about the place. There are 3 bullet points here. The place, where the location, where this hotel is. Okay, the appearance, okay, the physical features, okay, what this hotel looks like. And the third point, what facilities? Facilities means, okay, services, something like this, okay, this hotel has. And finally, a final point, whether you think it is a nice hotel or not. So one, okay, the topic, 3 bullet points, and a final note. And usually the final note here is about how do you feel about it? Okay, usually, okay, your judgment of this thing that you are asked about. So عندي 5 نقاط بدي اغطيهم. الموضوع 3 bullet points and a final point, one final point. عادة اللي بيتدرب كثير راح يلاقي انه النقطة الأولى بجاوبها في 15 ثواني، النقطة الثانية تقريبا نفس الشيء ما بطولش فيها كثير. ممكن يبدأ الكلام يمد معك في النقطة الثالثة والأخيرة. Okay, because when you are asked to explain, okay, something, whether it's a nice or not, there are a lot of things to say. Okay, it's not like the location. Maybe the location is in a, okay, maybe it's in a strict area, so there are not a lot of words to talk about the location. Okay, you can just give the address and this is it. Okay, looks like, yeah, you can actually expand a little bit here when you are talking about the physical appearance of the hotel and the facilities. Okay, but here's okay where you can develop your answer the most. Okay, when you are asked to describe your feeling, your judgment, your assessment of this place. Okay, thank you. So this is okay. So this is a place, right? Okay, hotel is a place. Another example, describe a website that you bought something from. Okay, what the website is. So here's the first point here is the same with the topic point above. يعني هون لما تبلش حكي رح تحكي شو اسم الويب سايت هذا اللي اشتريت منه، والنقطة الأولى أصلا بتحكي لك شو اسم الويب سايت. فإتس ذا سيم. يعني ممكن هون نحكي في هذا المثال ممكن نحكي إنه عندنا 4 نقاط مش 5، لأنه هاي النقطة هي نفس هاي النقطة. أوكي. What you bought from this website, how satisfied you were with what you bought, and finally describe whether you like it or dislike it. Okay. Another example, describe a famous business person that you know about. Okay, who this person is, what kind of business this person is involved in, what you know about this person, and what do you think of this business person. So you need, guys, to answer the topic, go through the 3 bullet points, and end with the last note. تمام؟ Okay, عرفنا كيف شكل الامتحان. Another example, describe. دائما الكيو كارد تبدا بدescribe، دائما على طول. So describe an interesting TV program you watched about a science topic. What science topic this TV program was about, when you saw this TV program, what you learned from this TV program about a science topic, and finally, and explain why you found this TV program interesting. Okay, تمام. Any questions so far, guys? أي سؤال? Any questions so far? Okay, so let's just proceed. So the first thing you need to do, okay, is to try, okay, to choose the answer. This is the crucial point, guys. أول إشي أهم إشي تحدد شو التوبيك، شو الإشي اللي بدك تحكي عنه، بعدين نيجي للديتيلز تبعينه. إذا ما حددتش التوبيك ما راح تعرف تحكي ولا إشي. اوكي، حتضيع، ممكن تتشتت. اوكي، فاول نقطه when you are asked about a topic, try as fast as you could to just determine or to choose a topic to talk about. So for example, if you are asked to talk about an interesting trip, decide immediately what kind of trip. Actually, you should have done this a lot of times before the test. Okay, so maybe visiting Petra, for example. Describe an important building in your city, maybe the Royal Hotel. Describe a subject you like at school, English, mathematics, whatever. Okay, describe some traveling you would like to do, maybe visiting Italy. Finally, describe a happy event in your life, maybe your graduation, your wedding, and so on. So the first thing, the most important thing is to choose the topic that you would like to talk about. Okay, as quick as possible. So the second point, if it is possible, write down keywords to answer each bullet point and try to write related less common vocabs, idioms, and some tenses to use. Okay, so maybe if you are asked to write about traveling, if you have the time to put notes for each bullet points, that's great, okay, to answer it. Then if you have time to add some less common words. So less common words actually is going to level up your score a little bit, maybe half a degree, or maybe one complete degree, okay, from 6 to 7, if you use idioms correctly, okay? For example, okay, traveling, maybe I can say something about tourism, backpack, explore, and excursions. School subject, maybe curriculum, coursework, if it is possible to add some complex structure using if or though, since, and so on. Okay, another quite important thing, it's a crucial one as well, to describe, to decide the tense type. You're going to use simple present, simple past, or future. Okay, it depends on the question. So if you are asked to describe a happy life or a happy event in your life, okay, it's natural to speak using which tense, guys? اي فعل راح نستخدمه؟
past.
Yeah, thank you. Simple past. راح اتكلم عن simple past لان كل الاحداث صارت عندي في الماضي. تمام. happy event معناته انتو you have been through، مريت فيه. So simple past. Okay. Describe an object you use every day. شيء انت كل يوم تستخدمه. So it's natural to use simple present. Or maybe describe a vehicle that you would like to own, which means in the
future.
in the future. Thank you. Okay. فلازم احدد التنس. هلا في نقطة، في بعض الناس اللي يعني الانستراكتورز، بعض الفيديوهات اللي على اليوتيوب اللي انتم بتحضروها، اوكي، بيحكي لك استخدم هاي الاستراتيجية كلها في البارت 2 بغض النظر عن السؤال. يعني بعبارة أخرى، لو اجاك سؤال عن describe a happy event in your life، تتكلم عن happy event في الماضي، وتتكلم عن happy event في الحاضر، وتتكلم عن happy event انت حاب شو اسمه تحضره او تشارك فيه او اوكي الى اخره في المستقبل. مش دائما هذا الكلام صحيح. اوكي، بدك تنتبه. والمشكله الثانيه انه الوقت ممكن ينتهي عندك قبل ما تكون، يعني مثلا في بعض الطلاب، في طالب صار عنده مشكله انه طلبوا منه يتكلم to describe something in the an electronic device that you would like to own in the future. فهو الاستراتيجيه اللي ما يعني اللي حافظها او عارفها، بلش يتكلم عن electronic device that he had in the past and an electronic device that he has today, right now, at present. Okay, and the time actually ends before he talks about the electronic device that he would like to own in the future. So he did not practically answer the question. ما جاوبش السؤال. السؤال بده عن شيء في الفيوتشر، انت حكيته على الماضي والمضارع والوقت الحالي، وما حكيت عن المستقبل، ما تكلمت، ما جاوبت على السؤال. فانت حاول انه تتكلم، لا try to give more details. It's better than just to jump between tenses if it is possible. Okay, so اوكي ندخل هلا نتكلم كيف الطريقه العمليه نجاوب part 2. So for example, let's look at this question. Describe a sport that you like playing or watching. Okay, so this is the topic that you need to actually to choose. Then okay, the 3 bullet points: what the sport is, how often you play or watch it, why you like it, the reason or the reasons, and finally, is it is popular in your country or not. So how to practically answer this question. First, how to begin. Okay, so to begin, we're going to use one of these, let's call them introductory phrases, something like this. Okay, phrases to start a speech. Okay, you can say something like, well, I'm gonna talk about a sport that I love playing, and this sport is football. Okay, ممكن أبلش أحكي I'm gonna talk about. Okay, or maybe I'd like to tell you about football, the sport I love playing the most. Another good way. Okay, yeah, I'd like, or maybe I'd like to kick off. Kick off means to start, to begin, okay, to commence, by saying something about a sport I love playing, and this sport is football. Okay, فهاي عشان ما تحيرك، يعني خلي البداية، اختار لك بداية من هاي البدايات وخلاص اعتمدها. ممكن تعتمد هاي الكيك اوف، ممكن تعتمد tell you، ممكن تحكي talk about. It's up to you. Okay, المهم انك تبدا. اوكي، يعني يكون عندك طريقة معينة انت مريحك، اوكي، بتبلش فيها بغض النظر شو اجاك السؤال. تمام؟ اوكي، وبعدين بتعطيه بكل بساطه شو السؤال عندي، الفكره الاولى. هلا بعديها بدك تنتقل، يعني خلصت، لاحظ انه النقطه الاولى راح تنحكى بسرعه في 5 ثواني، يعني لانك بدك تحدد التوبيك. اوكي، الان لو كان السؤال الاول اوكي هو نفسه بيحكي لك ما هي what the sport is، يعني نفس الكلام اللي فوق ما انت حكيته سبورت فوتبول. اوكي، هون في النقطه الاولى give the examiner more details about the topic. اوكي، فاللي هعمله كالتالي، راح امشي على النقاط نقطه نقطه. في بعض الطلاب شو بيعملوا؟ بياخذوا بس التوبيك وخلص، هو بيسرح بخياله شو بيجيب معه. اوكي، فممكن ما يجاوبش النقاط هاي، ممكن يجاوب نقطه، ممكن يجاوب نقطتين. هلا بصراحه يعني انا ما جاوبت، ما لقيتش جواب حاسم تماما. اوكي، هل اذا الكانديديت ما جاوبش نقطه من هاي النقاط هل بينخصم عليه علامات ولا لا؟ بصراحه ما عندي جواب حاسم يعني لهي النقطه، بس انا اللي بعرفه
ما أتوقع دكتور.
ممكن ممكن لا يعني. يعني انا اللي مريت فيه مثلا ما انت
يوم
شفتي. تفضل تفضل محمود.
آه، يوم ما أخذنا
مم.
في دكتور بريطاني أعطانا اللي قلت لك عنه 3 محاضرات،
اها.
حكى لنا عن سبيكينج، قالنا مش شرط إنكم تجاوبوا كل سؤال بسؤاله،
مهم.
المهم إنكم تجاوبوا بطريقة يعني إنه
مهم
فلونسي
انك تحكي.
أكثر.
مهم.
مش شرط
مهم.
إنك مثلا تمر كل نقطة بنقطة وبالترتيب ولازم تجاوب عليها، لا مو شرط هذا،
هذا
يعني
الدكتور
يمكن مثلا تلغي
البريطاني.
نقطة عادي.
وين هذا البريطاني دكتور؟ يعني بيشتغل في يعني هو ايلتس اكزامينر ولا مش شرط؟
آه آه آه
وين في
وعنده
البريتش
كمان
في
شو
البريتش
اسمه،
كونسل يعني؟
أكاديمية لآيل.
في البريتش كونسل ولا مش شرط؟
لا هو مش هو أكاديميته مش بريتش كونسل،
امم
بس هو كأنه كان هناك وبعدين بطل وأخذ يعني أخذ جهة لحاله،
مين هو، شو اسمه؟
يعني
كي
سوى بزنس إله يعني
ولا
خاص.
يعني انا مثلا انا
لحظة
اختبرت.
شوي هسه سبطلع لك.
شوف طلع اسمه. انا اختبرت والله، انا اختبرت اكثر من مره. في احد المرات نفس الاكزامينر كونه مش مسموح له يحكي، اوكي، كان يشاور لي على هاي النقاط يعني انه احكيهم. اوكي، ف I think I guess from my own يعني point of view I think these bullet points are of much helpful. Okay, they can help you the most. They can organize your ideas. You can go through them, okay, and you can develop your answer and cover the whole 2 minutes. انا اقتراحي لك امشي عليهم النقاط، برتبوا لك افكارك، بتجاوب النقاط هاي، تقدر تطور اجابتك، وفي نفس الوقت بتطلع من اشكاليه انه والله هل حكيت ولا ما حكيت، في نقطه غطيتها ولا في نقطه ما غطيتها. عشان هيك راح نجاوب. اول شيء راح نبلش I'm gonna talk, I'd like to tell you, I'd like to kick off. بعدين لما بدي انتقل للنقطه الاولى، اوكي، راح انتقل كالتالي. اوكي، firstly ممكن احكي firstly، طبعا هذا اكزامبل، هلا حنشوف كمان مجموعه من الجمل اللي ممكن استخدمها او الفريزز او الوردز الفوكابس اللي ممكن استخدمها. اوكي، firstly يعني مثلا بعد ما جاوبت اوكي حكيت well I'm gonna begin or kick off or tell you or whatever saying something about sport I love the most. Okay, and I think I would choose to talk about football. Okay, firstly I would like to highlight that this game, okay, then I'm talking about the first point, so I'm gonna add more details. I would like to highlight that this game, okay, is played with 2 teams, okay, and there should be 11 players in each one, okay, and it necessitates, okay, that this game should be played on a football field, okay, that has certain dimensions. For example, okay, so you need to give more details about, okay, the sport. Then when you are done with the first point, you need to move to the second point. So you can use something like then, okay, a transitional, okay, word, okay, to move from first point to second point. You can say then, okay. Instead of saying I like to highlight, you don't want to repeat yourself. So say something like, well, I really need to add that. Okay, you can use another expression, another word. That if okay, the point is, how often do you play it? Okay, that if I have enough time, I usually play it about twice a week. However, currently, since I'm quite busy, okay, I play just once every 2 weeks, for example, something like this. Then you need, when you are going to move to the third point, you can say something like next, okay? My point, or the point I want to make, is that the point number 3 is about why, the reason, okay? That the reason, the factor, the incentive, the motive behind what, okay? Why you like it. Behind why I love this game is that this game helps me to stay fit, and it's actually, and I'm pretty good at playing this game, okay, and so on. You can add whatever points you want to, okay, say. And finally, okay, for the last point, is it popular in your country or not? You can say something finally, because you are closing your speech, your response. If time permits, you can say this one. I really should mention, okay? You're not gonna say highlight or add or make or point, okay? Say something new. I really should mention that this game is quite popular in my country, and almost everyone, regardless their age, okay, plays football, okay, and so on. تمام؟ فالفكرة هون هاي التراكيب بتساعدني إني أمشي على النقاط، أرتب أفكاري، أطور أفكاري، أوصل الدقيقتين. أوكي؟ طبعا هاي التراكيب مش الوحيدة، طبعا هاي في تراكيب كثير ممكن أستخدمها. For example, okay, to begin your response زي ما حكينا ممكن أحكي I'm gonna tell you about a sport. Okay, I'd like to tell you something about a sport I love. I'd like to kick off by saying something. Okay, I would start off by saying something about. I'd like to begin. I would like to start by. Okay, there are countless ways to begin. So you just try to stick to one or two ways. Choose the most appropriate one for you, the one that you love the most. Okay, then to move between the bullet points عشان تنتقل بين النقاط تمشي عليهم واحدة واحدة. النقطة بعد ما حكينا الجملة اللي خلينا نحكي الانترودكتوري phrase أو الانترودكتوري sentence بدنا نروح للنقطة الأولى. فأوكي بكل بساطة أحكي first أو firstly أو the first thing I'd like to highlight is that وبحكي maybe so to begin with I'd like to say for example something like this. Okay. النقطة الثانية then or maybe another or a second point I'd like to mention or add is that and you can say it. النقطة الثالثة يمكن تحكي next تحكي furthermore تحكي moreover I need to emphasize or stress that بتحكي عن النقطة وأخيرا finally if time permits ممكن استخدمها ممكن لا I'd like to end my response by saying that and so on. تمام. Okay, or some phrases to develop your response. Okay, بدناش كلهم نحكي I'd like to say حكينا هون highlight, mention, emphasize, response. Find the highlight, emphasize, stress, highlighted. Okay, the things that they needs to be highlighted, the thing that needs to be highlighted. Mention, add. Okay, underline, explain. There are a lot of expressions to use. Okay, I ought to, I suppose I should. Okay. And so on. Just try to choose 4 sentences and stick to them. Okay, this will help you and reduce the stress or pressure for finding sentences during your response. Okay, so any question, guys, before we look at the first example?
No.
Okay, no. جبت اسمه محمود؟
جبته اسمه كريس بيل.
كريس بيل. اوكي.
من ايلتس ادفانتج. يمكن تكتب على جوجل ايلتس
اوكي ايلتس ادفانتج معروف الموقع. اوكي تمام.
ما بطلع عنده غير اللي بجيبه 7 و8 و9 احيانا بطلع عنده.
وهي بده يطلع لك
يعني
واحد
قليل اللي
4.
بيطلع من عنده 6.
لا ما هو شو بدي اعطيك
مرحبا يا انس.
اعطيك هلا ايمن.
مرحبا يا انس.
شو اخبارك؟ الله يسعدك.
بس حاب اعلق على الاخ بقول ما بيجي غير 8 و9. هذا شو بيساوي؟ ما راح اذكر اسماء بس هذا لانه ذكر بقول بصراحه هذا بيستلم الطلاب بعد 6-7 اختبارات وبجلدن جلد بالدراسه. انا بعرفه في شخص صاحبي سجل عنده بيعطيك ماتيريال وبيكون اللي بدي يقدم اختبار مضطر يجيب هالعلامه فهو بيكون دار على 4-5 مدرسين واخذ دورات كثير وبصير يحلل هو الشخص لو دافع $1500 فما
1500 دافع.
في كثير ناس ما جابوا 5 عنده اصلا. اطمنوا انا بعرف ناس ما جابوا 5. الموضوع مرهق عنده في شخص سوري بقطر من اصحابنا قال لي شيء بيطلع الروح، موضوع مو سهل، فما كل ما كل ما يلمع ذهب. شكرا.
هو يعني انا من تجربتي انه بشكل عام الاكزامينرز يعني ما فيش طالب اوكي بس مجرد الكورس فقط بدون ما يكون هو تعب واشتغل والى اخره اوكي بيحصل العلامه اللي بده اياها. يعني
أكيد.
اللي بيعطي اوكي اللي هو الانستراكتور بيعطيك الماتيريال وبيحكي لك شو لازم تشتغل وكيف تشتغل وكذا بيشتغل عليه اوكي، بس لازم
هو بكون زي موجه له.
يس از ا جايد. اذا ما اشتغلش على حاله ما وبشكل عام يعني الناس يعني اي انستراكتور مين ما كان لما طالب ما يجيبش العلامه اللي هو بده اياها ما بشيرهاش، يعني ما بعلنها، ما بحكيش والله
أكيد.
طالب يعني هم في العاده بس طبعا زي يعني يمكن ايمن بيعرف، انا والله ما بعرف بصراحه، بحكي لك انه هذا الزلمه اذا بدك بتجيب علامه عنده بس يعني بدك تتعب مزبوط.
هو مبين عليه هيك فعلا، هو زي ما قال فعلا مبين عليه هيك. لما أعطانا ياخذ 2200 صار، بطل 1500.
كم باخذ؟
2200
2200 ايش؟
دولار يا أنس، ريال ولا سوري؟ وحد الله على المذهب.
دولار ايش؟ دولار
قالوا
امريكي؟
بيعمل خصومات، عامل خصومات هذيك اليوم 75%، بعت لي هذيك اليوم عشان اسجل
75%. هذا لو يعمل 90%
طيب يا
خصومات.
أنس اسمح لي أقول كلمة.
تفضل.
أقسم بالله مشان ما يقول حدا عم بجامل.
لا صادق بدون.
هذا الأستاذ اللي قدامي الحين اسمه 500 كريس، نفس الأداء ونفس الشيء، بس في ناس نحن نقول بالشام كل فرنجي بدنا واحد نيتف مثل هنا عندنا بالسعودية، جابوا لنا نيتف زحفوا الشباب. والله مش مجامل عم بحكي، أنا كثير عندي حضرت دورات ومدرسين وبتابع، بيعرفني أنس إنه أنا بدرس آلس 4 و5 يعني خلص. في شي ناس تعطيك الخلاصة انتهى خلاص، لا لك بلفك كثير وبيلقاقشك وكذا وبيحللك، انتهى الموضوع. انا وجهة نظري
يعني تقترح علي ارفع الاسعار ل $2200 عندي.
والله السوق خايس عندنا يا انس، خليك هيك على طبعا
خليك على اوكي
شكرا.
العفو.
هذا كريس نزل الاسعار، شو بدك تقول انت؟
انا بعمل خصم 99%. شو بصير؟
ان شاء الله يبارك لك، ان شاء الله ربي يبارك لك.
الله يسعدك.
الله شكرا.
Okay, like you. So let's look at a full response, okay, or a full answer. So the question here is describe an animal that you can be found in your country. You should say what type of animal it is, okay, where it can be found, whether you have seen it or not, what other people think of this animal. Okay, so مذكرين الخطوات رح نمشي عليهم one by one، رح نمشي على النقاط واحدة واحدة. So I'm gonna tell you, so I'm gonna start my response saying I'm gonna tell you about an animal that can be found in my country, and this animal is the giant panda. Okay, so to begin with, the first point, what type of animal? I would say it's a type of bears. Actually, there are two types of panda, the lizard one or red panda, and the commonly known giant panda, which is in the national symbol of China. Okay, the first point. Then I'm gonna move to the second point. Maybe I can say something like, okay, next, or a second point, okay? Or secondly, a second point I'd like to mention is that, okay, where it can be found, the place. Because it's an endangered species, it lives mostly in protected nature reserves in Western China, although it's also possible to see them in zoos around the world. Okay, I'm done with the location. Then you have seen it or not. Moreover, okay, I'm moving to the third point. I suppose I should underline the fact that I visited the panda sanctuary in Chengdu 2 years ago, while I was traveling in Sichuan province. It was actually a one-day tour of the panda's habitat, which included lectures from conservation experts. Finally, what people think about this animal, okay? As a final point, if time permits, I'd like to bring in the point that most Chinese people feel some sense of patriotism شو يعني patriotism؟ عمره حدا مرت عليها الكلمة؟ patriotism.
احساس المشاركه.
لا يعني دقيقة.
الانتماء الوطني. الانتماء الوطني.
yeah thank you. يعني اللي هي الانتماء للوطن، شيء زي هيك. اوكي
من
الشعور.
باتريوت صح.
يا الشعور بالوطنية،
صح.
الشعور بالقومية زي هيك. اوكي
من باتريوت، انا باتريوت اسم الوطن. باتريوت.
yes towards this giant panda because it's recognized globally the archetypal Chinese animal. archetypal يعني بشكل خلينا نحكي يعني هو النمطي. ايوه زي هيك. اوكي يعني الباندا دائما الباندا الناس بتربطه بالتشاينا. اوكي so a full answer. اوكي organized developed great answer. تمام. شفنا كيف انتقلنا، لانه معظم الطلاب بيحوسوا وبضيعوا من وين يبلش من وين يخلص. رتب هاي الافكار، اذا مسكت طرف الجمله بتقدر تكملها. اوكي another example describe a useful skill that you would like to learn. What the skill is, what you would like to learn it, why, sorry, whether it would be difficult, and whether you think you will learn it in the near future. So I'd like to tell you something about a skill that I'd love to learn. And I probably select the Chinese martial art Tai Chi. Okay, the first point, what the skill is, اللي هي جاوبتها أنا أصلا حكيت Tai Chi، فهلا راح أعطي more details. And I like to add that it is a skilled art which is used to promote physical and spiritual well-being. Okay, النقطة اللي بعدها the reasons. An additional point I ought to stress here. Okay, كل هدول التركيب هاي اللي بتساعدني إني أنتقل من نقطة لنقطة naturally. Okay, بدون ما أوقف أسكت أعمل ارتباط أروح أقرأ السؤال نفسه. Okay, is that I would really like to get in shape because at the moment I'm quite unfit. Okay, يلا هسه بكون معك إبراهيم، خلص الجملة وبكون معك. Ever since I was a kid, I've been kind of fascinated by Tai Chi, especially the way it can help you to relieve stress and improve overall physical fitness. النقطة الثالثة it is difficult. Okay. Furthermore, okay, I would like to emphasize that you really have to understand that it would probably be quite demanding at first. Then again, I'm sure I would be able to deal with a challenge, although it might be tough to master some of the complicated breathing exercises. Finally, آخر نقطة, you will learn it in the near future. So to end with, if I still have time, ممكن يعني في تراكيب كثير حلوة ممكن استخدمها. I should say that I have in actual fact already I have in actual fact لازم نحطهم between two commas. Okay, already signed up for a Tai Chi class, which is run at the local martial arts center near where I live. Great answer. تمام. Okay. Yes, Brahim.
بدي احكي.
تفضل.
انت عامل عليها تعديل الكتاب المعهد غير مطبوع.
شوي شوي صغير. يس.
نقول عشان بتابعكم.
اوكي يا سلام. تمام. عندي كمان اكزامبل نفس الطريقه، نفس التركيب، نفس كل شيء. تمام. اوكي، شو رايكم؟ what do you think guys؟ اوكي طب خلونا نعمل براكتس. اوكي ونجرب نسمعكم. اوكي هلا التست الاكشوال تيست شو اللي بصير فيه في البارت 2؟ الاكزامينر راح يحكي النقاط التالي بالترتيب التالي. اوكي so what the examiner say this. Okay, now I'm gonna give you a topic and I would like you to talk about it for 1 to 2 minutes. Before you talk, you're gonna have 1 minute to think about what you are going to say. You can make notes if you wish. Do you understand? You said, yes, I understand. Or yes, I do. Okay, here's some paper and pencil for making notes. And here's your topic. Then the examiner will hand you the topic. راح يعطيك التوبيك. So this is the cue card, maybe you will read it. Then, okay, while handing you the topic, the examiner would say, I would like you, he's gonna say the topic. I would like you to talk about, for example, something you own, which is very important to you. Okay, then the examiner would say, now you have 1 minute to prepare. The examiner gives you 1 minute to prepare. So you start writing, okay, your comments. The first thing, as we said, you need to choose the topic, okay? Something you own, which is very important, maybe your mobile phone, your watch, okay, your car, whatever, okay? Then you try to answer these bullet points and finally this final point, okay? In 1 minute, just write a keywords. Don't write full sentences. There's no time for writing down full sentences. Then, okay, after the 1 minute is up, the examiner will say the following: the 1 minute is up. Remember, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to talk, so don't worry if I stop you. I'm gonna tell you when the time is up. You may start talking now. Then, okay, you need to start your response, and the examiner will just put the timer for 2 minutes. When you hit the 2 minutes, the examiner will say, thank you. Okay, and this is how part 2 actually goes. So let's try, okay, to make some practice. What do you think, guys? Okay, عندي يعني مجموعة من المواضيع. عندي مثلا if you want to talk about an object, okay, describe a present you gave someone. You should say who you gave it to, why you decide to give it to this person, why you choose that person, and so on. Person, maybe describe one of your relatives, what the person looks like, okay, what the person character is, they are doing at the moment, other relatives, okay, are most similar, and so on. Or maybe event, or maybe a different topic, maybe food, for example. What do you think, guys? شو رأيكم ناخذ هذا الموضوع نتكلم عنه? Describe a famous food from your hometown or country. You should say what it looks like, what it tastes like, and how it is usually eaten. Finally, why you think it's famous. Okay, well, let's change a little bit. Okay, okay, and what the ingredients, I think this is a little bit better, right? When, how it is usually eaten. Okay, maybe اوكي، يعني لو بدنا نغير هذا السؤال شو ممكن نحط بداله؟ الانجريدينتس والتيست and how. Yeah, it's okay. لو حكينا when it's usually eaten and how, it's okay. Yeah, okay, guys. So now I'm gonna give you 1 minute, guys. جاهزين؟ أعطيكم 1 minute. Yes, okay, 1 minute. Then I want to hear your answers. Okay, so 1 minute to prepare. Okay, guys, so who would like to begin? Who would like to answer?
Yes, I want.
Okay. Okay, mean Rashid?
Yes.
Okay, Rashid. So, okay, I would like you to talk about a famous food from your hometown or country. Okay, so you now have 1 minute. It's okay. The 1 minute is up. Remember, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to respond. Okay, I'm gonna stop you when the time is up. Okay,
Okay.
so you can start now.
Yes, my famous food in my country and hometown is mansa. The
Okay.
next topic, the ingredients
Mhm.
is yogurt and rice and meat.
Mhm.
Usually I eat the mansa on Friday
Mhm.
and maybe and
Yes.
maybe and
Mhm.
where we all my family
Mhm.
sit with us.
Okay.
Yes, and this mansaf is very delicious.
Mhm.
Yes, my dad is the favorite food is mansaf.
Mhm.
Yes, and my mother is cooking the
Mhm.
mansaf for us.
Okay.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's it.
Okay, thank
You're
you so much. 1 minute 15 seconds بس في كان حوالي 10 ثواني كان يعني pause اوكي صمت سكوت هلا
yeah.
بدنا نحاول نستخدم الفريزز اوكي بشكل ادق يعني مثلا نبلش الجواب I would like to tell you something about a food that I love the most from my home country and this food is mansa. شفت علي كيف؟ يعني نبلش الجواب اوكي I would like to tell you something وبعدين ننتقل للنقاط اوكي بدنا شويه شغل على الجرامر بدنا شغل على الجرامر اوكي
واضح ايش انا عندي بالنسبة
الجرامر
للجرامر.
بده شغل وشوي كمان شويه وشوي بالنسبه للفوكاب
vocabulary. Yes.
thank you so much Rashid
You're welcome.
okay you are so welcome okay who else guys مين كمان who would like to yes محمود okay so
جرب. أنا خايف شوي.
لا في امتحان يا محمود دافع 1200 انت ولا قديش ده؟
لا أنا مش دافع أنا لاقي أوفر عشان أدفع.
بحكي لك على امتحان اللي هو بيحكوا في مباراة الأردن مع السعودية مش اللي فاز أول امبارح فبيحكوا الأردن دافعين راشين للحكم دافعين له بقول لك يا زلمة هم الناس لا بقول لك هي الناس لاقي عشان ترشي اوكي تمام اوكي so okay the 1 minute is up خلصنا ال preparation okay remember you have 1 to 2 minutes to talk so don't worry if I stop you okay you may start talking now
I'm gonna begin by saying something about the food in my country I love the most and I think I would choose kabsa.
Okay.
Then I really need to add that kabsa تتكون من ايش احكي تتكون من
consists of
consists of
yes.
rice maybe chicken or meat
okay
some carrots
okay
tomato and other ingredients
okay.
Next the point I want to make is that kabsa like really good ومش عارف ايش كان تيست كمان ما في شيء ثاني
taste يعني مثلا is it hot is it spicy is there a lot of
spice
yeah it's spicy okay something like this yeah
finally I would like to highlight that
so what's the third point when you eat
مش ما احكي فاينلي على الثيرد وورد صح؟
لا الفاينلي هون على الاخيره على هاي
حكيت then أنا هسه بدي أحكي next.
Okay.
The point I want to make is that
I usually eat it.
I usually eating
Eat it, yeah.
كبسة with my family, set up in table, talk
okay.
with each other.
Okay.
Really, really good. We can eat it in spoon or by hand.
Using a spoon or just by hands. Okay, using our hands. Yeah. Okay. And the final point to say.
My point of view, I think that kabsa is famous.
Okay.
Famous food in my country because people like to eat it and they زي كأن نحكي بتجمع العيلة مثلا أو كذا.
It can ممكن أحكي bring people together, bring families together, or ممكن حتى تحكي glue them together. بصير بس glue بتكون شوي قوية يعني. But bring the family members together بتكون حلوة. Okay. Thank you so much محمود. إحنا صار في كتير تقطيع. فيعني احنا صرنا 3 دقائق بس اكيد انه مع التقطيع الى اخره. Thank you so much. Okay, so and okay, who else?
Me.
Yes, Ayman. So okay, the 1 minute is up. Remember, you will have 1 to 2 minutes to speak. So don't worry if I stop you. I'm gonna tell you when the time is up. Okay.
Thank you very much. Yes, let me kick off. I would like to talk about a common cuisine that people eat in my country.
Okay.
Actually, this cuisine is called tabbouleh. Concerning the ingredients, it contains a lot of substances which are healthy to my bodies. So it contains seeds, parsley, tomatoes, and sometimes cucumbers. Concerning what it tastes is delicious because it has a lot of nutritious substances such as vitamins and lemon. So I think, to my way of speaking, it's delicious and scrumptious because it has a big benefit for the bodies. Thirdly, about and how it's usually eaten. People eat it in different times, but to me, more specific, this cuisine is eaten before meals in afternoon or evening because maybe it's appetizing or appetizer.
Okay, appetizer.
So it has health benefit for the health. Yeah.
Yes, continue, please. Yeah.
Yeah. So it prevents people from getting fat and it helps to decrease cholesterol and fat from their bodies. So people like to eat it, tend to eat it regularly. As for me, I'm obsessed with food because it helps me a lot to decrease my weight and lose weight and get in shape.
Thank you.
In the future, if I have a chance.
Thank you so much. The 2 minutes are up. Okay, خلصت الدقيقتين. هلا انت ايمن عندك فوكاب حلو تمام بس بدك تشتغل على البرونسيشن شغلتين الكلمه نفسها كيف احكيها وفي شغله ثانيه اللي هي الفلو كيف يعني اربط الكلمات في بعضها ما اخليهاش زي مقطع يعني احكي ما احكيش a lot of مثلا شغله لازم احكي a lot of اوكي تمام ما بحكيش substances اوكي ما فيش اللي هي الكسره الصغيره هاي substances and so on. الفوكاب حلو الجرامر تقريبا ما فيش عندك اخطاء بس البرونسيشن بده شويه شغل. In general, good answer. Yeah, you are so welcome. Okay, guys, thank you so much. Any question, guys?
دكتور ما حكيت لنا كيف
محمود كويس. احنا ما هو احنا المشكله وقفنا كثير، شفت علي لحد ما وصلنا 3 minutes. اوكي but in general بدك فوكاب محمود. اوكي يعني في كلمات يعني رايحه عن بالك كثير يعني او كذا الى اخره. ممكن الكلمه تكون تعرفها بس لانه فيش براكتس مش بسرعه بتخطر في بالك، بدك تدور عليها. اوكي وبدنا كمان بدنا البرونانسيشن والجرامر كمان شوي نشتغل عليهم.
ماشي.
بدنا يعني لسه بدنا شويه براكتس يعني. اوكي
المشكلة في المدارس ما كانش يعلمونا هيك.
المدارس الله يرحمه الاستاذ عبد المعطي
ما
للاسف للاسف يعني احنا يعني البعض بيقارن ما بيننا وبين الهنود والباكستانيين. الهنود والباكستانيين لغتهم نفسها فيها كثير كلام انجليزي، وهم عشان عندهم اكثر من لغه بتواصلوا بين بعض بالانجليزي عشان انجليزياتهم بتكون صحيح الاكسنت تبعهم مضروب بس كلماتهم كويسه. احنا لا، احنا عندنا العربي قوي بالعكس.
بالمرة
احنا
الأكسنت تبعه.
يعني انا حتى انا متذكر لما كنا صغار يعني حتى الاهل يعني أنا الوالد والاهل وكذا يحكوا لك اللغه العربيه ولغه القران ونائب المفعول المطلق وما
حتى
اهتم.
العربي بيعرفوش
آه، يعني لا بس يعني انه ما اهتمناش كثير بالانجلش يعني. وفي الاخر لما تروح على سوق العمل ولا بدك تتطور في المستقبل ما حدش بيقول لك
بدهم
لا.
إنجليزي
ما حد بيقول لك لا اعرب ولا شو هذا الضمير
ولا
المستتر.
شيء.
معلش. كلهم بيحكوا لك do you speak English or not fluent English or not. هذا طلع الأهم شيء في الآخر. Anyway, okay, thank you so much guys. I'm so glad to have you in this session, and inshallah I'm gonna wait you for the next session next Friday. We're gonna talk about listening. Okay, I think we're gonna talk about completion questions. Okay, thank you. See you inshallah next week. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.